Way. Say good morning, fellas.
Morning.
Good morning. Hey, all right. Before we get to them, if this is your first time, please go to Spiritual Warfare Unit and YouTube, like and subscribe. And you want that information so you know someone that's struggling who needs food or clothes or baby formula or mental health or drug rehabilitation. They can go there and get help for free or next to free. If you know anyone that's struggling and needs detox or hanging out, we're going to introduce you to a couple new friends of mine, but hit UCANMichigan.com, UCANMichigan.com. Click on there, put your information in. Someone will get in front of you, hold of you within 24 hours. All right. Randy, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Randy Leach, you are the El Presidente, El Jefe of what?
Flint Alano Club.
Flint Alano Club. And Tony Seaback, you are what?
I am the house manager of the Flint Alano Club.
House manager and or rock star. All right. So, first question I have is, can somebody tell me the difference between Alano and Alanon? Because there's something.
Well, Alano Club, I don't know the real history on it, but they're all over the United States. They might be all over the world. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it.
Well, what's the difference?
Al-Anon is just a part of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's for the significant other. It's for the person that the alcoholic. We're a tornado that goes through people's lives.
Right.
And they're the people. You know what I mean? We're the ones.
Okay.
Like my wife. My wife's a member of Al-Anon since 1985.
Okay, so Al-Anon are the members of the people in your lives that the addiction affects.
The family disease.
Okay,
yeah.
so then Alano is what?
Alano is a sober club. They're based. I've gone to them. I went to one in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. But
Hawaii. I think I would burst into flames. I am very Irish. All right, so I got to get your story and how you got to be president. That's the end of the story.
Oh, boy.
So where did it start? Did you start drinking in high school, middle school? Broke into Dad's whiskey cabinet? What happened?
No, nobody at my house drank. My mother's always had a problem with prescription drugs, but my father's, he's one of them so-called normal drinkers.
A normal drinker, oh,
yeah.
Okay.
He can have one beer in his refrigerator for a month. You know what I mean? That's the way he lived.
Oh, I got
you. We have a little saying, in our 12-step program. It's called restless, irritable, and discontent. And a friend of mine says, that wasn't my 4-step. That was my 3rd grade progress report. I was a disaster growing up. I came from a very, very normal, dysfunctional family.
Normal dysfunction.
Everybody's family.
So how'd you get into it?
Into alcohol?
Yeah.
Me and my brother was actually I was born and raised in Clio, Michigan, a big town just north of here.
Yeah. Country boy.
CL10, yeah. But we used to walk the railroad tracks, you know what I mean? Basically, my dad was a workaholic, so during the day we could do anything we wanted. So anyways, I was 12 years old, he was 10. We used to hunt for bottles to return, you know what I mean? And,
yeah, right.
And there used to be an area in Clio along the railroad tracks where high school people used to go to party on the weekends.
Gotcha.
And that was a really good place to go look for bottles.
Bottles and cans, yeah.
And you'd find money, too, because they'd be wrestling out in the weeds, doing whatever.
Yeah,
and,
whatever.
But we actually found a full bottle of wine. Nice warm bottle, nice summer day, and we drank it.
And that's how it started.
And that's how it started. I can remember the first effects produced by alcohol like it was in color.
Really?
At 12 years old, me and him bouncing around. Like, I found my solution. You know what I mean? I was neurotic. You know what I mean? My dad had beaten any self-esteem out of me for years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like nothing. It's pretty. I don't like to say it's a normal childhood, but you know what I mean?
I mean, it's pretty normal.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, I was in charge of an open speaker meeting at my home group for 14 years, and just about every person that went up and shared their experience, Strength and Hope, talked about a troubled childhood, so.
Yeah, well, you got to have a trouble to get into more trouble, right?
That's right.
You know what you're looking for.
But at 12 years old, I found alcohol.
All right, so just to keep the story congruent here, like by the time you were in high school, like what was going on? Like major party kid or what?
Anytime I could.
Every time you could, yeah? All right, so you graduated high school what year?
I graduated. I didn't actually graduate.
Oh, you got a GED?
74 was the year I was supposed to. I actually had the record for most missed days in Clio my senior year.
They keep track to see who has the record?
Well, the principal told me that. I'm not sure it's true.
You just missed a lot, huh?
Yeah.
You're a truant.
And he even tried to help me at an early age. He could see the situation.
All right, so what happened? I mean, so you didn't graduate, and what happened?
Well,
you get booted out of the house, or
what happened in my life really is I started drinking when I was 12, but it didn't escalate because there was, like I said, there was no alcohol in my house.
Yeah,
so
right.
I had a few friends that their parents drank that we could borrow some.
Yeah.
But at 14 years old, my parents got separated.
Okay.
So I went from walking on eggshells my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? It's just like
I get it.
I went from not being able to do anything to do anything I wanted. My mother was a prescription drug addict. She was usually passed out most of the time.
And at 14, that's a tough time to be able to do whatever you want.
I loved it. It about killed me, but I loved it. No, it did. I went from an A-B student to a.
All right, so you don't graduate. You stayed with your mom?
No. Actually, I end up living with some friends. Both my parents moved out of the area.
No kidding.
When I was 15, end up moving in with a friend of mine.
Okay.
And his family.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So you don't graduate high school. What do you do? Like you got to fend for yourself, right?
I drank.
Yeah, but
I worked my whole life. Back in this is back in 74, 75. You could go anywhere and get a decent job. You know? I just so happened started dating my wife when I was 15, and her dad owns a really good ceramic tile business.
Okay.
And of course, I had hair down to my shoulder blades.
Of course.
Dating his daughter, and he was like a huge redneck. I mean,
I'm sure he was thrilled.
Everybody's parent was a redneck back then. It was in the 70s, but he put me to work. So I mean, I made great money.
So you worked hard.
I did.
You also partied hard.
Yeah.
And eventually, one of those won.
We used to call each other. We was weak. My wife, when we were dating, she drank hard too. She's got addiction in her family too. Her brother just passed away 2 years ago. You know what I mean? It don't put in the obits, that he was a drug addict.
Yeah, of course. It's weird. They missed that part, right?
They always do.
All right, Randy. Before we get on the next section, we got to go to our first break. Told you this stuff was going to quick.
Okay.
All right. If you guys want to check it out, it's a Flint Alano, ALANO. .com, FlintAlano.com. Like, share, and subscribe. Sit tight. We'll be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com. Click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warriors Way. Our Warriors this week are Randy Leach and Tony Seebeck, and they're from the Alano House. And we're just getting some of Randy's story and how he went from a 12-year-old to the president of this is going to be a great story. So you're just in high school, you're working for your girlfriend's, which will be your wife's dad's ceramic company, making good money, but the drinking was already part of the everyday life at this point.
Yep. I mean,
And how old? You were 17 doing this?
Yeah, I got my
Jeez.
first drunk driving at 17.
First one. Really?
Yeah. Wasn't my fault.
Well, of course not.
Muffler fell off the car and he got pulled over for excessive noise.
Yeah, not that you shouldn't have been driving the car. That's weird. Yeah.
Didn't have anything to do with alcohol.
Yeah, but see, I mean, this is just a classic scenario. Like the fact that you're successful, given the dysfunction that you went through earlier. I have a semi-similar story to that, and that's making me extremely curious. But I don't want to jump the gun. All right, so you're 17. You got your first DUI. Now, are you living with your girlfriend this time?
No,
You
I'm
still with your friend?
living with my sister. At this time, we're living in east side of Flint.
And how many siblings did you have? Just so you know.
I had 2 brothers and a sister.
Okay, and you guys are all just dispersed throughout the area?
Well, my little brother actually died of this illness at 20 years old.
Wow. All right.
Full-blown alcoholic.
At 20?
Already wet in the bed, blacked out every time he drank. I thought he just lied. You know what I mean? I didn't know anything about the illness at that time.
Right.
I called myself a weekend warrior.
Nice. Yeah. So he, at 20.
Yeah.
Man, that's unbelievable. All right, so you're dispersed everywhere. What were you doing? How old? Is he older or younger than you?
He was younger. He's my youngest.
2 younger?
Brother.
2 years younger?
Yep.
So you were 22. What were you doing at 22 when this happened?
I was married, newlywed.
Oh, my gosh.
Got married when we were 21.
So just been married. Oh, my gosh. How'd you deal with that? Tough, yeah?
I drank.
You drank? You solved the
So I
problem?
dealt with everything.
How did and so that just is already your coping medic. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
By 22.
Yep.
Gosh, dude. I mean, you're like right in that prime, right? So you still working for?
Yep.
Okay. And when do you have any kids start coming along?
At 25. At 25, the wife got pregnant. She quit smoking and drinking. I quit smoking.
1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yeah.
All right, so you're 25, so this would put you at, what is this, 1977? 1977. All right, so 1977. So you're working, kids, family, holding it together?
No.
No?
Well, when she quit smoking and drinking, we drank together most of the time. So I lost all supervision. So she was smart enough to leave the bar at 11 o'clock at night because she had to work the next day.
The governor came off.
So yeah, so that's when that's when the binges started, the 3-day, and then somebody invented this little white powder that you could stay up for like 4 days and drink like hell. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And luckily, I never got involved in that too much.
AKA the bender.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from those, right? All right. So, what's the next big event that happens? You're having your kids, like
second and third drunk driving ticket.
How far apart were those? First one's at 17. When's the next one?
They were all 6 years apart. 23 and then 29.
Like a pattern.
Yeah, it was.
It's weird.
I could have got 10,000 of them.
Could have got 10,000. Only got 3.
Yeah.
All right. So explain to people how big a deal this is. Your third one.
Third one. This was back in 1989. Or no, excuse me. It was
84.
No, it'd have been 86 because the judge gave me a whole year to get into treatment, or I was going to jail.
Okay, on your third one.
That was
So what was treatment back then?
It was 28 days in Insight for me.
Oh, just doing
Columbia Air used to be in Clarkston.
So he gave you a year to get 28 days in?
He could give me a year, and my wife told me I came home drunk on my 364th day.
Did you really?
I did.
So you're like, all right, this is the last day?
We'd been separated for 3 years.
Wait a minute. Hey, you just can't throw it. So before the third DUI, you got divorced?
No, just separated. In 1985, we went to a drug and alcohol counselor.
Yeah.
This is after multiple counseling for me, in sight, out of sight, marriage counselors. Finally, the marriage counselor, we got one that knew what was kind of going on, and she sent us to a lady named Betty Loving in the Flint area here.
Did she stop drinking? Your wife? Like she didn't go back to drinking after the kids?
No, she's never drank or smoked since.
Oh, so that was it. She got pregnant and that was it, and you just kept going.
She's not an alcoholic.
And you said, honey, I love you. I'll do it for the both of us.
Well, the drug and alcoholic counselor told her she needed to go to Al-Anon, and she told me I needed to go to AA, so I went 3 years trying to prove them wrong.
I don't need to do it?
I didn't. Wow. And the day came where I was irresponsible. We were on our third kid. And the wife looked me right in the eyes. She goes, "I love you, but if you drink, you can't live here." So I left.
She said, "I'd rather drink than stay here."
Well, if you'd have asked me,
There wasn't an issue.
I'd have told you she kicked me out.
She kicked you out.
That's what I heard.
Oh,
Because I
that was the
couldn't drink.
process.
Yeah, that's a delusion I was living in.
All right. So how long before that all unraveled?
3 years before I got into, like I say, I came home on my 364th day drunk, and she got me into treatment. She was always there for me.
All right.
She did go. She went to Al-Anon in 1985. I did not go to.
All right. So you get your third DUI. You go to court. He says you got a year. You go 364 days drinking all the way to the last day.
I wasn't sure if the next one counted, and I didn't want to go to jail.
Wow. Wow, that's perfect,
the only,
right?
That's the only thing I could think of.
You're like, so there's a calendar, and now I got another one. All right, so you go in after 364 days and 3 DUIs. You do the 28-day detox.
I did.
Then what?
I graduated. They gave me a piece of paper. It said that I did really good.
Did you jump right back into it, or what?
No, I actually stayed separated from alcohol for 12 years.
That was the one. Now, what was the thing this time? What do you think it was? Why this time?
Why did I pick back up again?
No, why did you stop? You stopped for 12 years, you said, right?
Yeah, but then I picked up again.
Yeah, but we're not to that point yet.
Yeah,
So one
I
thing
know.
at a time now.
No, I stopped for the kids. I had 3 kids.
So that was the reason.
I had a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 3-year-old.
Okay, so
And the
when
wife.
so when you quit, were you able to reconcile back with your wife?
I did.
Okay, so and you're how old at this time?
I was 29.
All right, so at 29, you sobered up, even though you got your 364 days in, which is funny, and like funny, haha. And so and then you get back and you're sober 12 years. Okay, so during that 12-year time period, life's just normal, work, sleep, repeat.
Well, I mean, I buried myself into my kids probably the first 6, 7 years. I mean, anybody's got little kids, especially nowadays. When I was a kid, they had Little League baseball. That was it.
Yeah. So the sports and the stuff.
Yeah, when I got separated from alcohol in 1989, 1990 in that area,
Yeah.
The kids were in soccer. They had t-ball. They had basketball. I mean, swimming.
Yeah. So you're doing all the dad stuff.
They went to a private school, so I dropped them off in the
Nice.
morning. The wife picked them. So, I mean, I kept busy, and I worked 12 hours a day. I just drowned myself into,
So
trying-
drinking, you kept busy, so you couldn't drink to keep yourself busy.
Yeah.
How'd that work for you?
It got really rough towards the end,
I bet it did, right?
and
Yeah, the pretending that it doesn't exist theory doesn't work that good. Eventually, the monster comes back.
I didn't know I didn't know anything about the ism of alcoholism.
The ism. Explain to people what that means.
Inner spiritual malady is what my friend calls it.
Inner spiritual malady. And what do you mean when you say that?
That means it's an inside job. I can't fix me. You know what I mean?
So it's a faith-based thing for you at that
Yeah,
point.
it is, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 12 years,
Got into all kinds of different...
what triggered it? What was it?
To drink again?
Yeah, there's something,
Because I
right?
was ready to kill myself.
That's it? The suicidal depression?
Separated from alcohol.
You missed it that much?
I didn't know what I was missing. I used to stand out in my front yard, beautiful house, all brick house, swimming pool in the backyard, 2 new vehicles, beautiful wife, great kids, never any problem. Look up to God and ask him why I was on this planet. And I did that 20 times, if not more.
This is a perfect place to take a break. We got to go to our second break. Everybody sit tight. Hit spiritualwarfareunit.com. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll be right back.
I'm really
2 minutes.
impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and but it's showing me how to do the good parts, and I'm trying to apply that and make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand. Like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing it out, it's like, wow, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
All right. Welcome back to the Warriors Way. You guys are going to miss that conversation. We were talking with our buddies here, Tony and Randy, and we were just getting into the story of the triggers. And one of the things people don't really talk about when they're struggling with this issue is the pull. Like you were basically explaining right before the break, you had everything. The wife, the kids, the job, the house bubble, everything was great. And you're like, what? And that wasn't enough to fill your purpose. That's basically what I got from that. Do I have that right?
Yeah.
So basically the world gives you work and you get stuff and cars and the girl and the kids and then your yard and you mow that lawn and you're supposed to be great, right? But it's like, it's not great. It's right? Yeah. Why am I breathing? Why am I exchanging oxygen? What is the purpose of this? So you're in that moment and you're how old?
47.
47 years old. And what happened?
I went to my normal. I was, avid golfer. Went on my golf league that I'd been on for all the time that I was separated from alcohol. Same drink cart came by every 4 holes, and I either said I didn't want anything or I'd get a water or a Coke, and just out of blue, I goes, "Give me a beer."
And that's all it took.
That's what it took.
Oh man!
I should say that I did. If anybody knows anything about there was a certain cough medicine, was the only cough medicine that ever worked for me. And I knew there was alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So I'd already started kind of having the shakes a little bit. And,
Yeah.
And I don't know about anybody else, but like drinking, I had it hoarded all over the house. And, drinking cough medicine it got to where I had to drink it just to go to sleep. It tastes like it don't taste good.
It tastes like the backside of fertilizer.
And at that time, I was still under the delusion that I drank for the taste.
Drank for the taste. All right, so from the time that you took that beer at the golf cart.
Yep, I had 3 beers that night.
How long was it before it all just started to click away?
I social drank for about 2 weeks. Which means I went to the golf course every night because I made a decision that I was only going to drink when I golfed.
Smart.
Yeah, so I golfed every day.
Every day.
I'll start golfing now.
Decided to go pro.
So then the ism started taking over, of Alcoholics Anonymous or alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcoholism, the obsession. So I'd be at work and I'd say, well, you know what I mean? Without making myself look like I got a problem with drinking, I can't, the drink girl comes by, you can't order 3 drinks at a time, you know what I mean? You might have an issue there,
Yeah.
So the great idea to come was, buy a couple 40s before you go to the golf course. Drink them on the way there, guzzle a couple 40s.
80 ounces of beer before you get there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's thinking.
Oh, yeah. Teary-eyed. Yeah. It's like, because I wasn't get the effect I wanted. 3 beers just wasn't doing it. I had no clue what I had set off. I really did.
So
what I mean, because
it sounds like you just blew up a nuke bomb in your life is what happened. So what happened? I mean, how did that unravel?
Well, it went. I like I said, I social drank for about 2 weeks. Fought it. I tried to control it as best I could for a couple weeks. then finally one night I came home so drunk that I knew no amount of peanuts or breath mints was going to get me by the wife.
So what happened?
I remember sitting out
Feces hit the oscillator?
I remember sitting out by my pool and staring through the window. It was dark out.
Yeah.
And my wife's in there tending to the kids. And I goes, I got to tell her. So I walked in there and I goes, I'm drinking again. And I'd been drinking for probably a good month, you know what I mean? Or so, 3 weeks or something. But
Yeah. Wow.
and the very first thing, she looked me right in the eyes. She goes, because I did surprise her. And she goes, you're going to have to go back to treatment and you're going to have to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. And my first response is, I can't do that.
You can't.
That's what I said. I can't do. I have no idea where.
Well, they're anonymous. I have no idea where they're at.
And she looked me right in the eyes, and she goes, "You ain't got a choice, buddy." And she turned around and walked away.
Oh, threw down the hammer.
So the next morning, we had quite a talk that night.
I bet.
And the next morning, she got up and she goes, "You know, I love you, but if you drink, you can't live here.
Right.
You know how it is." So I went to work the next day with every intention of not drinking, and I was going to think of, maybe to make her happy, I was going to go to an AA meeting that night.
Yeah.
And by noon, I was drunk again.
By noon. Wow. The battle was so intense. By 10 o'clock, you're like, I'm out of here.
I was shaken to death.
Wow.
I couldn't even read my level. I couldn't, you know what I mean? That's how hard it hit me quick.
Yeah.
And I just told her, she just told me that if I drank, I couldn't live there. So I was already drinking.
She already kicked you out.
Yeah. She kicked me out again.
She kicked you out again.
So I went on probably about a 6-month bender.
Now, where did you
no
stay?
communication.
What did you do?
Well, I lived in my truck for a little while, and sooner or later, one of my old drinking buddies from my first drinking career caught up with me. He found that I was out drinking again. We love each other, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Us misery loves company.
Yeah. It justifies the negative action because you're both doing it, right? Yeah.
But towards the end, I got so hopeless. I knew I was in big trouble.
So this is that 6-month time period?
Yeah.
And you were at 40?
Well, you know what I mean?
47 or 48?
When I first got separated from alcohol the first time, it took me 20 years to get that way. You know what I mean? 20 years is pretty.
That's a long
I practiced pretty hard to get there too.
Yeah. Well, you can't be a quitter.
It wasn't from lack of trying. So when I picked back up again in 2002, my delusional mind said, I got another 20 years before it gets bad again. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
You're thinking you can go till 67. Oh my gosh.
So yeah.
So you're in your truck, homeless, caught up with the people that you were screwing up with before and thought, hey, here's a good idea. And then that 6 months, I mean, you lost everything that you worked for?
Well, I didn't give it away yet. I was working on it. I don't know why. I know it's, through my wife's faith, she never gave up on me. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's that she stuck with me all through all these years. She always says if she'd have divorced me, she'd have just found somebody worse. So, because I wasn't a mean drunk. I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you ever met the little 4-foot Italian woman, you know why I wasn't mean to her. She's 4'10", but thinks she's 5 foot.
Yeah.
She's a tough gal, I tell you.
Yeah.
Saved my life.
Yeah, like
there's no
beating
doubt.
you with her shoe tough.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, listen, that is perfect place to finish up for our first show. Unbelievable story. I can't wait to see what the comeback is. Thank you so much for coming in the Spiritual Warfare Unit. If this is your first time, please check out FlintAlano.com, where these guys are from, and we will finish their story next time. Thanks for coming. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? Feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Too much and let me stay this way.